Hey everyone, welcome to It's Been a Journey podcast. I'm your host Chanel, and we are back tonight with an incredible guest, a young lady that I knew her name before I knew her face. Okay, I got a chance to kind of converse with her before we came on, and she's a lovely young lady that stands firm in the Word of God, and I love that. So listen, this is the space where we talk about real story, real growth, and real transformation. I'm your host once again, Chanel, and today's episode is one that hits right here in Mississippi. For me, a community that I have had my entrepreneurship, you can say, in. And this person, we are talking about leadership. So our guest today is no stranger to public service, purpose, and power. She is a woman of grace, grit, and genuine heart. Miss Comelia Walker. Look, y'all, I had to tell I'm from the country, okay? I told her if I butchered that name, forgive me, girl. I'm from the other end of Mississippi. Okay. So she's in the race for mayor of Canton, Mississippi. I know many of y'all may not know, but Canton has a lot of movies here. Okay. I think it's A Time to Kill, uh, the dog Skip, my dog Skip, and there's a lot of other movies that was made here. So it's a lot of great things, music, gospel music. Look, I went to one yesterday, event with the Randburg Memorial Choral. Look, I was trying to sing back there. I got hoarse, but let me tell you, I have an awesome time at all their gospel concerts, oh, jazz and everything. So recently, she had a primary election. Now she has a runoff in the Democratic that's coming up in April the 22nd. So with her passion for the people and deep community roots, she's showing us all what it means to lead with integrity and vision. And tonight I would like y'all to welcome her to the stage, Miss Comelia Walker.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. It is a pleasure indeed.
It is. I am so glad you came to be with me tonight. Look, I told them now, I can jack a name up. They know. We done had instant where we had to pause and somebody had spelled it out for me.
Well, we know it is truly not your heart. So we got you. We got
Right, right. So look, thank you so much for coming on once again. So tell us a little bit about yourself because I did not want to really dive into uh a lot, because I want people to hear from your own words.
you.
So tell them a little bit about yourself.
I think that when people ask things about us, we tell them what everyone else knows. But
Hmm.
I guess with this opportunity, I would like to talk about some things that I do not know or that people may not know. I love learning. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm a fast learner. I love people. I would like to think that I'm a nerd in some aspect because I never think there's any way that you can stop learning something. I love children, although I do not have them. I do not believe that I meet strangers. So no one is a stranger to me. I can
Hmm.
actually walk into a room and spark a conversation with anyone. I do believe that I am a older person trapped in a younger person body because of my wisdom and knowledge. But I love God. My favorite book in the world is the Bible because it's the only one truly that makes sense to me. It makes
Mm.
everything right, and it helps convict me where I am wrong. I have come to understand that when we are misunderstood, that's right where we should be, because the only
Hmm.
true person that should understand us and our vision is God. And sometimes you have to
Right.
be alone in that isolation for Him to get you where He needs you to be. I'm more spiritual than I am religious, um, but yeah, I think those are things. And also, I'm a dog mom, so I have two babies that make me a mom, but those are the surface or the behind the scene things that people don't know. But I guess the surface things is I'm a Ken native. I'm of course a candidate for mayor. I'm a 3 times graduate of the Jackson State University. I'm a
Look, y'all.
proud member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, the Kindergarten Club, and the Madison County Baptist Women's Auxiliary in the city of Canton, Mississippi. Those are a few accolades that I have, but yeah, I'm a part of you. So yeah, those are a few things about me.
Right. Look, I was about to stop her because anytime someone, yeah, Mississippi Valley State University over here, okay, I told her I was gonna let her say it. But listen, even today I was thinking about the Jackson State. I knew it was gonna
Most
come out the Jackson State. So shout out to all the Jackson State. Look, my daughter in Texas. That's right. We are the Valley State, but we all family. We all family. HBCU in the house. And look, so Miss Walker, we're gonna get right into this because I'm gonna keep you here for a time, but not a long time. So before the campaign trail and the public spotlight and everything that was going on, who was Camila growing up in Canton?
I was this bubbly young lady that everyone loved, which I still am, but I was just
Mm,
a person that everyone gravitated to because of my personality. Everyone gravitated to me because of how I was able to consume my education, and I always wanted to be able to make a difference amongst my peers and myself. I was a leader in my home, and all of
mm.
my educators at school were my teachers knew, and my peers as well. But I was someone who always wanted to see the better side of things.
Right. That's awesome. So, can you share a moment from your childhood or upbringing that shaped how you see this community today?
Of course, I grew up in an area that
Excuse
many know as Ricks Drive or Kenton Estates. And in that area, this is where a few individuals that may not be as fortunate enough to be home buyers at the time, they reside in. So
me.
those are my stomping grounds. But through that time in my life, I was able to grow up with some of the best individuals in life. I was able
Mm,
to walk outside bare feet and not be judged. I was able to, drop something on the ground and say, blow it off and say, God bless it, and not be judged. But I was able to grow up around people that truly loved each other. We didn't judge each other. We loved each other. And from that, in my upbringing, I now am able to extend that same love to citizens in Canton and beyond Canton. So that's where I officially learned the importance of love right here in the city of Canton, Mississippi on Reach Drive. Your mic says mute on the screen.
can you hear me now?
Good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, look, we're gonna get this out. So whatever trying to stop it,
I know that's
thank you. That means we on the right track. Okay. So look, many people in Canton face economic challenges, right? Limited resources, even generational hardship, and even in the spiritual realm, we call them generational curses,
I know that's right.
right? So have you or your family ever had to navigate some of those same struggles, and how have they fueled your fight to change?
Absolutely. I would like to. I'm a true Democrat because if it had not been for EBT, I don't know if I would be here today.
Mm,
So we look forward to whatever day the EBT dropped, because
mhm,
that was able to carry us through the month. We look forward to being able to attend school supply drives or even be able to go to vacation Bible school or even be able to go to the Boys and Girls Club because we knew that whenever my mother or grandmother worked or presume whatever duties they had throughout the day, we were still being fed at whatever, someone was. But we also knew that we would be able to have experiences and be exposed to different cultures, different people, and different opportunities. So
mhm,
this has been able to fuel my campaign or even give me that boost that I need because I'm now able to look at children or look at families that face those similar or same hardships and
mhm.
understand what it is that they need to be able to come out of that, what it is that the children need so that when they grow up, they won't think that that's the result or that's the last option or resort for them. So it helps me to understand that that's not a forever for them. They can rise above them. They can come out of that hardship, but they need a boost. They need support and they need to know what it looks like on the other side of those things.
Yeah, that's so true because I didn't grow up with EB, but I had EBT, for
Mhm.
my children. So I had to navigate that being a teen mom, but then it still taught them stability, how to manage that money because you're getting it once a month. Even though people look down on it, it still teaches you how to manage
Yeah.
economic, look, the
Mhm.
price of food, how do you have your money right to have leftovers
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
the next. So you are so right, and I know it's a lot going on with that. So we talk about leadership. So, but let's talk about survival. What's one personal challenge you've had to overcome that made you stronger and help you better understand what everyday families in Kenton are going through?
It's always that stigma of not become a part of the statistic. Oftentimes
Mhm.
you hear individuals look at your circumstances and think that you will not amount to anything, or that your circumstances are based on everything that they read and research prior to knowing who you are. So with
Mhm.
being able to be that first in a lot of different things or a lot of different situations based on different circumstances, it has come to help me understand that you could never be too young or too old to rise above things that those that are like you have not been able to do. It's also
Mm.
to understand that it is important to believe in yourself, work hard towards that, but also be able to make sure that you're focused and not allowing those naysayers to get into your mind and consume you. Because once you get consumed in those thoughts, then you lose sight of your survival skills. You lose sight of overcoming things that you know are or may be hard to those around you. But just staying focused and being able to know that you can be the first among many to do those things is what has been able to help me overcome a lot of challenges in my life.
Right. Because earlier we was talking about that your grandmother played a big part in your life.
Yes.
Shout
And
out
it,
to
I mean, and
grandmothers.
yes, indeed. I mean, and truly, my grandmother was able, through her, I know that God allowed that connection or that encounter, because I don't believe in
Mhm.
coincidences. I believe in divine
Right.
connections. So
Mhm.
without her, I don't think I would know how to pray. I don't think I would have a relationship with God. We had to go to church, but we also had to be involved. And because we grew up in such a small church, I had a leadership role in the church at a very young age. So with that, I was able to learn early on the responsibilities of being a church leader towards other young people, or even towards the elderly, because they depended on Camelia to do whatever it was as her responsibility. So truly, I'm grateful for my opportunity to have that one-on-one time with my grandmother.
Yeah, that's and I'm telling you, there's nothing like I call mine Granny.
Yeah.
And she's from Louisiana, and my kids call her Granny Granny. Don't ask me where they got it from. She was about 6 feet, full Louisiana style, okay, spicy and all. So it's good that those grandmothers stepped in. So, Miss Walker, we're about to engage now in the realm of politics.
Okay.
So, this journey towards the mayoral leadership, how did it begin for you? And what was that moment when you said, I have to step up for Canton?
So about 7 to 8 years ago, roughly, I served as Miss Jackson State University in 2017, 2018. At that time, I was doing voiceovers for the current mayor, Truly. And
Mm-hmm.
during that time, I was able to see him, witness him, and he served as my mentor throughout his day to day different things, and just being able to know how to publicly speak about politics and understand the different
Mm-hmm.
terminology and different things of that nature. So that's where it began for me. From there, I began to then understand how to go out in the field and be able
Mm-hmm.
to engage with citizens, whether it be in Madison County, the city of Canton, or even beyond, to then help them understand the importance of the political realm. And at that time, I was being groomed unknowingly for
Mm-hmm.
this role, this capacity. However, the more and more involved I got, the more I understood the importance of leadership as it relates specifically to the city of Canton. So 2 years ago, I decided, looking around and being exposed to different things, because you go out of Canton and you see surrounding areas, and then you start hearing your citizens and your counterparts begin to compare themselves, and you're like, I mean, we can do that. It's not as, I mean, I'm sure it takes, there are challenges and obstacles that we have to overcome, but we can do that, Kenton. And so after realizing that, and you talk to people, you realize, okay, we don't have a different group of people that's willing to do it. I finally said that I don't want to seek people that's willing to do it. I want to be the person that's sought to do it. So it was at that
Mm.
time that I decided to step up and say that I will run for mayor of the city of Canton, Mississippi.
Right, because once I have a barbershop in this city, for the people that may not know, and Canton has some of the best, eh, well, it may be in the county,
Mhm.
but I mean, they have things I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Being in Mississippi, bypassing when I worked at the Mississippi Medical Center,
Mhm.
a university, for years, and I did not know that they had already factories here.
Yeah.
But one thing that discouraged me when I got here was all the negative emotion towards the city of. It was still a separation in conversation and
Mhm.
flowing. So um that was heartening for me.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was. So community is such a buzzword, but for you, it's action. What
Mhm.
are some things, right, you've done or most proud of, um, that speak to your commitment to the people of Kent?
Things that I'm most proud of or just have done is just as a citizen, even before serving as mayor, because I'm going to claim it, even before God gives me the opportunity, I've been able to channel and respond to the things that people want to see. We hear
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes about people saying we need to do something for the kids, and it doesn't take much to do things for the kid, but it takes energy, it takes creativity, it takes innovation, and it also takes connection because you have to be able to engage with them once you have their attention. So to
Mm,
be able to do that before even serving as mayor has been something I'm most proud of because it shows me that if I can do this before having the authority of the mayor, then there
mm-hmm.
is no reason why I can't continue and make a greater impact with the authority as mayor. Outside of that, I've also been able to have capacity, have reach, have people be able to reach out and be available and accessible to them. And that makes me very proud because I wouldn't want the citizens to assume that if she can establish this consistent leadership now, why can't she keep that going? Once these
Mm-hmm.
relationships are formed now, they will continue to go because they're built on a solid foundation. So with that consistency and that a line of communication already being established, we keep that formed, but we also keep it going. So those are things that I'm most proud of just as a citizen with being able to go in this with initiative to lead in a different aspect, but establish that foundation now prior to.
Right. So that foundation, people don't understand, it's everything.
Mhm.
It's like a home. When the foundation crack, they tell you get that because it'll cause the walls to shift, will cause the roof to fall.
Yes.
And once you work on that firm foundation, that's even viable. We stand on a sure firm foundation. So let's talk about the challenges then. Because in order to have a foundation, every journey has obstacles. What
Yes.
has been the hardest part of this campaign so far, and how are you pushing through it?
The hardest part is the season of being mute
Mm,
because it is important to know when to say something, but it's also important to know when not to speak.
mhm,
And that is something that you have to really, for me, I have to really be in my spiritual realm to know when God has told me to speak and when it's time for me to be mute. And the way I have been pushing through that is specifically, I chose to every day I choose to say that if I'm going to presume or seek the role as mayor, I must act accordingly now. I don't need to wait until then. I need to put myself in that role as now. So in representing people, you don't choose to just, verbalize or express yourselves in that capacity. You have to represent the people. So as a person is representing everyone, you
mhm.
must be able to make sure you're representing them in the best light. So that has been the hardest part because you have to be able to know, okay, I gotta be mute. Okay, now I gotta speak. So that's
Right.
been the hardest thing.
Because a lot of people don't understand when you deal with public, you're dealing with different spirits. And some of them not coming to greet you. Some of them to come to get the raw at you.
You want to stir you up, yeah. And I
Want
mean,
to stir you
the
up.
Bible tells us that a soft word turns away wrath. That's why
Hmm.
it's so important for us to reach people and connect with them in love. Because if you're always treating everyone with kindness and love, then there's nothing ill that would come from that, from you at least, but you won't stir them, you won't provoke them. So it's important that you always come from a place of love and kindness and a place of understanding. And that way you
Right.
won't be in that predicament to where you're saying, God, please forgive me. I wasn't supposed to say that.
We like, help me, Lord.
Right?
I want. She almost got it, Lord. Thank you for Jesus. And that could come real quick. Because
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, and watch as well as pray. Because when
Mhm.
when it catch you off guard, it's like seek thee first, but they catch you off guard. That flesh talk first.
It
Then
does.
you have to say, Lord,
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Then
And
he
that's
said,
why,
go tell.
like you said, we got to stay rooted in the word, because
Mm-hmm.
you can miss a day and that one day could make a difference. But
Yeah.
we also have to have people like you on guard that is interceding even in the midst. So if I did go one day, you've already sent the prayer forward so that they won't even miss.
Right. I'm telling you, because
Mhm.
I'm just gonna leave it there. Okay. It's something. So you made it to the runoff. 2022. Congratulations, y'all. Give her. She made it to. She got a runoff. So, what's your message to those who may feel disconnected from local politics or unsure if their vote really matters?
One thing that I would, as it relates to the disconnection, we see that you're connected. We
Mm,
know that you're connected. Only reason that you may feel disconnected is because you don't understand why it's happening the way it is.
mm-hmm,
I want you to know that if there is anything that you do not understand, please reach out to me so that I can explain it to you. The only way that we win this is if we get 50 plus one votes in the runoff. It does not matter how much I lead. I have to get 50 plus one votes. What does that
mm-hmm,
mean for you? That means that your vote really matters. Your vote could be that plus one. Your vote could be that vote that gets me over. Your vote could be that vote that really pushes us towards the change that we seek. But it's also very important that when we say take someone with you, we encourage you to strongly do that, because you all as a unit in a body can truly push us to where we need to get, so that you can become connected, so that we can be able to
mm-hmm,
reach you where you are, whether it's social media, whether it's the radio station, whether it's through mail, whatever it is, to make sure that you stay connected in the growth and the hardships and the challenges and the obstacles that we overcome. We need you all to stay connected. So, as you said before, we don't have that disconnect or that strain in how we're growing and developing in Canton. We all can speak the same language. We all can bring more citizens to Canton. We all can bring more residents, more businesses, because we all represent politics in the city of Canton, because it's
mm-hmm.
about our community that truly helps us grow, which is where your vote matters, because you are the ones that's choosing the leadership in the city of Canton, Mississippi. So you matter.
Right.
You have the
Yeah.
power, right? You have the power.
So this wasn't one of the questions I seen you beforehand. So with the young African American males,
Mhm,
with the things that happen in the city,
mhm,
what voice could you give to them that feel like, hey, I feel like I'm left behind?
mhm,
I see them all the time because I service them daily,
mhm.
every week, or I get a phone call.
Yeah, yeah,
And it hurts me. And I've been in this business over 20 some years. So being a new light in the city,
yes.
how would you shine that light so they can feel like, hey, this ray is shining on me. Somebody finally understands me.
One, we have to be able to get more male role models before them, to talk to them, to once see them where different choices and where they could lead to, because there's always truth in our choices. But it's also important that we be able to understand what's taking place in their home that has led them to be able to respond or act out in the way that they are acting out. So it's going to take a very deeper dive into, what that framework or their lifestyle looks like. But it's also going to take us going out into the community. Like, we have to
Hmm.
go to them, see where they are, and meet them where they are, to bring them out of that. But if we're
Mhm.
just expecting us to get on social media and say, you all can do better, sending them this reel and just us praying without working, because faith without works is
Mhm.
dead. So if
Mhm.
we believe that they can come out of that, we got to put the work behind that. So reaching them where they are, who are they connected to? What's taking place? Is there something or resources that we can provide for them? What trauma are they facing? Do we have some mental health resources that we could be able to help them with? Can we provide them with jobs? Can we provide them with food on their table? What is leading them to actually respond to the way that they are? Because we have enough male figures, but we have to create
Mhm.
a space to where they can freely express themselves, but we can also be able to truly respond to what they're facing. So that's what I want to do. That's the plan. Meet them where they are and bring them where they need to be.
Right, because even by me being here 3.5, 4 years, I have encountered young men that on the basketball team that won the championship 2 years in a row. Last year, you had several schools, number one seed, winning championships back to back. And I mean, even in their demeanor to where they think speaking out there, that's not what I get in here. They're very curt, yes, ma'am.
Very, very.
They, yeah, they, if you show them you care, you know, but when they go out the door,
Yes.
they have to put on a whole nother person.
Mhm. It's, and as we spoke about earlier, it's so easy for the youth to conform to what they
Mhm.
see around them. But we have to create spaces where they understand the benefit of not conforming. So, what is
Mhm.
the benefit of me not being like 10,000 people that I see and me being the only one that's different? We have to really be able to show them these success stories, not just give them something to do, give them something to do, but also let them see the benefit of being different. That way they can be able to say, well, I'm okay with being who I am without conforming to the things that are around me. So it's going to take a team of men. It's going to take a team of women to be able to push and organize and be able to administrate all of these things to support the men in their leadership and mentoring of the younger African American males in this community.
Right. That is because they are very talented.
Mhm.
I mean, like naturally smart. And I really enjoyed being, even their barber. So we always talk about healing on this podcast. So in your opinion, what does Ken need to heal from? And how do you plan to be a part of that healing process as mayor? I'm gonna yield the flow to you.
Yes, ma'am. We need to heal from broken promises in the leadership realm, in our personal aspect, and even in our household. There are a lot of things that we are seeing that we need healing from. How do I plan to be a part of that healing process as mayor? I plan to deliver on whatever it is. I plan to be able to respond to the problems with crucial truths and just being able to let you all know where we currently are, but also being able to provide a plan for how we will address those things. I want to be able to work hand in hand with you all as parents, as community leaders, as the youth, as senior citizens, to be able to respond to your concerns directly without trying to avoid them. I want to be able to look at everything that we're facing in the city of Canton, every issue that we have, police, whether it's parks and recreation, our fire department, whatever need that we have holistically, dilapidated housing, infrastructure. Look at that issue and respond directly to it. We have workers that are not put it, that you feel that are not in place. I want to be able to go through that, evaluate that, research that, and see what we can do without avoiding what you're putting in, whatever your complaint may be, whatever your concern may be, and be able to make sure that you have a response and everything is accounted for, and that I'm responsible and accountable for you as your leader and mayor of the city of Canton, Mississippi.
Awesome. Look, you did that, girl. That's like one breath. Look, we have a good time on here. So
Yeah,
tell them like where they could, even if they want to support.
sure.
Okay, we as the people say we take seed offerings around here. I don't know about nobody else, but now this race is not. She ain't running just on hope and a prayer. It takes money. I wasn't gonna even say that. This is my first time, but we're on here, so give them how they can support you, whether it's financially or even just spreading the word.
I think it's important right now for us to understand that we all may be tired. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't want you all to get tired on seeking and being able to support a change. If there
Mm-hmm.
be anything that you can do right now for me is I want you all to go to the polls on April 22nd and vote. Change the mindset of what research has shown. Research says that during the second time around, when people have to go back out for the primary runoff, that they will not show up. Let's change that and be able to exceed the numbers that we just saw in our primary. I believe in you. I know that you can take someone. Let's be able to move forward as a city in the city of Canton, Mississippi, but also knowing that it is your vote that is able to contribute greatly to this change that we will seek. My phone number is 769-567-4782. There is no bad time. Feel free to reach out to me. But I ask, whatever it is that you're in need of, whatever questions that you want, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much, Miss Green, for this opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Look, y'all, I told her, I said, God placed you on my heart. I was like, Lord, I don't even know her. I said, how? Woke up, got on Facebook, and I think I had told my husband, and I said, oh, people you may know. I was like, well, okay, Lord. And I hit up right then, boop, let's go. Because I know God has something amazing for you. And thank you so much for coming on. If y'all have any questions, you can do it later. I will send them to her.
Yes,
And I just thank you so much for showing up for your city, showing us all what intentional leadership look like. Your journey is inspiring, and the next chapter is just the beginning.
I know that's right.
Okay. Yeah. So stay in the background for me, and I'll be right back. Y'all give it up to Miss Walker. She's got a runoff on April the 22nd. Let's show them that we want a difference here in Canton. Well, we want a difference here in Mississippi, period.
That's
Because
right.
look, I tell everybody, y'all look down on Mississippi. Someone say, oh no. She
Oh,
just moved from Chicago. So,
oh,
Miss Taylor, I don't know if you registered, but I think you're in the city. So, this is one of the candidates. They're having a runoff on the 22nd. So, she just moved here from Chicago. So,
well, welcome to the City of Lights, Miss Taylor. I hope you enjoy the rewatch.
right, right. So, there anyone, do you have any questions before I let her go? Because, or you could give them at the rewatch. So, uh, is there anything else you would like to say? I was trying to wait to see if anyone had any
Just want
questions. I'm
you all
glad
to
she got a
know
chance to be
I
on.
love you all, and I'm so grateful to have each of you all support, whether it's through a view, whether it's through a prayer, whether it's through a seed sown, or just telling someone about me. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Taylor.
Yes, so stay in the background. I'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all, I thank y'all so much for coming, hanging out with me for these 30 minutes. And I'm telling you, Miss Walker is doing great things. She's just not a voice when the time is to be elected. When I first saw her name, it was during, I think, a season, I think it was Easter. And I remember passing by, and then she was like, Happy Easter, or it was something she had on there. And it was like her name. And I was like, okay, who is that? Because I didn't see any sign from anybody else, and I'm gonna leave it just like that. Okay. So I mean, every season you see her, she's out there supporting. Okay, she said, Miss Taylor said she would have to make an appointment. Well, yeah, do that. She has many questions and she new here. So, to my listeners, this is not just about politics, it's about a progress. If you're in Canton, Mississippi, your voice and your vote matter more than anything, more than ever. This is the time right now. The runoff election is happening on April 22nd, 2025. Y'all get down there, make plans, spread the word, stand with candidates who stand with the people, who is from your hometown. Nobody know the gravy in your roux like the person that's making it, that's been here all the time. That's the Louisiana thing. Y'all will get it later. So follow Miss Walker's campaign on social media, connect, volunteer, support y'all, because the journey of change begins with us. It begins with us. So until next time, keep growing, keep healing, and remember, no matter where you've been, your journey matters. Until next time, remember,